Hello everyone. Does nothing make you happy? Life seems boring and everything around you feels dull and superficial? Well, let us prove you wrong. Our planet is an incredible place, full of fascinating things, people, and phenomena. Don't you believe us? Then sit back, because we're gonna show you something. Let's get it on. Ice music. Say what you want, but ice is a fairly fragile material that can easily be damaged by accident. However, this is not a problem for some art lovers willing to create unusual works of ice. Ice sculptures, ice musical instruments, and even ice music. Swedish independent band Shout Out Louds delighted their fans with a new single, and an unconventional way to advertise it. The song Blue Ice was released on a record made of ice, which the fans can create on their own. The tools needed to create this unusual record include an ice mold, a silicone pad, a bottle of distilled water, and a manual. It may seem incredible, but ice records can actually play the music that's been recorded onto them. The sound may be of dubious quality, but still, it's incredible. Ice vinyl is no different from an ordinary vinyl, with grooves on the surface that are read by the turntable. The records were released in a limited edition of several dozen copies, and were given away to friends and loyal fans of the band. Sheep vodka. Don't worry, no sheep were injured in this process. For the production of sheep vodka, sheep cheese is used, or rather the whey obtained from the cheese production process. Ryan Hartshorn's family made a living selling cheese, but the money wasn't enough. One day, Ryan decided to improve the situation by creating his own project, and he started making sheep vodka. In April 2015, he sold his first bottle of vodka. And 2 years later, he's already selling more alcohol than cheese. Now his enterprise generates about $350,000 a year. Sheep alcohol turned out to be so popular that Ryan also added a line of gin. And it's not an April Fool's Day joke. As you can see, human imagination can be staggering. Sandwich in a pickle. Do you like to have pickles on your sandwiches? Regardless of your answer, we're sure you've never tasted anything like what we're about to show you. These sandwiches not only contain pickles, they actually replace the bread. Sounds absurd, but these sandwiches are very popular. There's even a special shop where you can buy one. The idea to create this place appeared by accident. The mother of Catherine Cohen, the owner of this establishment, suffers from diabetes, so her daughter used to make her sandwiches with pickles instead of bread. One day at work, one of her colleagues was eager to try this sandwich. The next day, she brought the sandwiches to work and they were a hit. Her colleagues uploaded photos on social media, and the rest is history. Catherine started pickling cucumbers with the family recipe for her sandwiches. Today, her establishment is always full, and on the wall you can read the motto, "Peace, Love, Pickles." While you wait for your order, you can try the pickle brine or pick pickle-flavored chips or other snacks. This place is truly a paradise for those who love pickles and everything about them. Hair highlighting. You may be wondering why we're talking about this, because there's nothing unusual about hair highlighting, right? Well, you may be correct, but people keep coming up with amazing things that can turn even hair highlighting into something incredible. For example, making it through a hat. Sounds like total nonsense, I know, especially if you put the process into words. The hat is put on the head, strands of hair are pulled out through the holes, then dyed. But it really works. Hairdressers from all over the world use these hats and create real masterpieces. It's hard to believe, so you'd better see it with your own eyes. It is great, isn't it? Underwater hockey. What water sports do you know? Synchronized swimming, diving, water polo? Everyone has heard of these disciplines. But what about underwater hockey? Don't think it's just a sport for a few rare amateurs though. Underwater hockey is popular in many countries and championships are held regularly. This is a very fast sport and players must not only be able to swim but also hold their breath for a long time. There are no oxygen tanks here and the match takes place at the bottom of the pool. You need to take a breath, dive to the bottom of the pool, look for the puck and just try to catch it, and then make a pass to a partner or send the puck to the goal and come up to the surface as soon as possible. You know, so as to not lose consciousness. Of course, using huge hockey sticks underwater would be a strange decision, so special sticks were invented for this purpose. They are small and can be easily handled with one hand. The equipment also includes air tubes, caps, underwater masks, swim fins, gloves, and the puck, of course. However, sending the puck to the underwater goal is much more difficult than it appears at first glance. Hitchhiking robot.
My name is Hitchbot.
Every day, more robots appear in our life, and every one of them has a special function. Some help you at home, while others travel to the bottom of the ocean. All these things are useful. But now imagine you're driving down the road and suddenly you find a robot looking for a lift. Would anyone help it get to its destination? Well, to find the answer, in 2014, a team of researchers, professors, and students from several Canadian universities created Hitchbot. The robot was made using common household items, so no one would want to steal it while it was traveling. The robot's only mobile element was its arm, which attracted the attention of passing drivers. To imitate human gestures, the developers installed LED lights too. The robot learned to wink, to hold a simple conversation, and to search for Wikipedia for answers to its travel companions' questions. The first trip of the Hitchhiker robot took place from July the 27th until August 21st, 2014 in Canada, covering more than 10,000 kilometers. Then he went to Germany, visited the Netherlands, but the trip in the US wasn't successful. Some bullies broke the robot while it was sitting by the side of the road. Cutting hair with fire. It would seem that the combination of hair and open fire cannot lead to anything good. However, Milanese hairdresser Franco Bompieri wants to prove the opposite. The old master uses a unique hair-cutting technique in his work. Franco sets fire to his client's hair. He owns one of Milan's oldest and most prestigious barbershops, Antica Barbiera Colla. This institution was founded in the early 20th century and therefore carefully follows all traditions. One of them is the exclusive use of scissors and combs, and the obligatory burning of hair after cutting. Why? Well, Franco says that after such a procedure, the hair grows healthier and stronger and falls out less. You can probably trust his expertise because this man has been working as a barber since he was 9 years old, but we still don't recommend you to try and cut your hair with fire at home or by yourself. 16,000 antlers. Collect butterflies, coins, comics, or maybe antlers?
Yes.
Jim Phillips from Montana, USA has one of the world's largest collections of deer, moose, and antelope antlers. There are more than 16,000 of them, but Jim hasn't killed a single animal. How is that possible? Well, the fact is that Jim's collection is made up of found antlers. The man searches the woods for new exhibits, such as shed antlers or skulls with the antlers of naturally deceased animals. The most surprising thing is that Jim has been doing this almost all his life. No wonder his collection's so big. To keep the antlers, the man built a separate place where he arranged his impressive collection. For Jim, walking in search of new antlers is a joy and a little adventure, so he doesn't plan to stop. And if these images remind you of Hannibal, you're not alone. Roadless town. How, in your opinion, does a perfect European village look like? Well-kept lawns, cozy little houses, trees, and rivers everywhere. Wait, what do you mean, everywhere? Well, it's not just a manner of speaking. Not by chance, the village of Geerthorn is known as the Venice of Holland. Actually, there are no roads in the old town, and instead of asphalt, there is water. Recently, however, bicycle lanes have been built, so you can not only walk around the village but also ride a bicycle. But the most popular type of transport is still boats and vessels. You're probably wondering how such an unusual settlement came about. Well, according to some reports, the village of Geerthorn dates back to 1230, when people from the troubled regions of the Netherlands fled to this place. Soon, the locals discovered rich deposits of peat and began to extract it, digging trenches near their houses. After a while, these trenches filled with groundwater and became canals. The canals widened and completely replaced the roads. And of course, today in the new part of Geerthorn, you can find asphalted areas, but they don't bother the crowds of tourists who visit the village to see the amazing Venice of the North. Mesoamerican ball game. Long before football, basketball, baseball, and other ball sports became famous in the world, the ancient Mayans organized their own Mesoamerican ball game competitions. This sport was very popular among the people of pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. The game was played differently in different places, but in the most popular version, the players hit the ball with their hips. Sounds pretty uncomfortable, but to them it seemed normal. Today, in the state of Hidalgo in Mexico, people are trying to revive the old game. The rules are very simple. You have to push the ball with your hips so that it flies over a certain line, and then your team will get a point. They say the hardest thing is to start playing, because that's when serious injuries can happen, but then it becomes really fun. By the way, both men and women can participate in the Mesoamerican ball game, but all participants are divided into teams depending on their gender. That's the tradition, and they decided not to give that up. Local people think it's important to keep the game alive, because it's a legacy they'll pass on to future generations. What do you think? Psst, dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.